Zacks Screen of the Week, an overview of a timely stock screening strategy aimed at helping you produce more profitable investing results. This week's screen deals with a first profit, kind of like the time you made your first dollar. You remember back when you started working? Kevin Matras, head of our Research Wizard division and top stock screener here at Zacks, ran this screen for us, and he's going to explain it all now. Really, that's not too far off what I said. What you're really talking about here is companies that have been finally posting a profit, like their first profit,
right?
Either in a long time or ever, right?
Right. Well, yeah. As third quarter earnings season gets underway, I've been running this screen with this concept, and that is, like you said, to find companies that have just recently shown their first quarterly profit.
So, as a result of the downturn, or first quarterly profit, like in what period of time?
Well, we're looking at the first quarterly profit over the last year. Now, we're going to get into all of the particulars, but for some companies, they will be brand new, and this will be their very first profit.
Oh, okay.
For other companies, they will have had a history of profitability, and they have seen their business contract, but they have finally returned to a point of profitability. Now, let me just say, too, though,
sure,
since we are at the very beginning of Q3, right, or at least reporting Q3 earnings.
Right.
The most recently reported period will likely be, for most companies, the period ending 6/2009. There are some companies that have already reported for the period ending 9/09, but nonetheless, you want to look at this because the whole idea is to find companies that in the previous 4 quarters have not shown a profit, but again have just recently shown a profit for the most recently reported period. And the idea is that if they're finally now profitable, this momentum can carry forward, and those are the companies that you're going to want to look at for their upcoming reporting period, which is kind of right now.
And is that where the importance of the screen lies?
Yeah, I really think it is. You know, the reason why I like this concept is because if you see a trend of improvement, you can expect to see that trend of improvement to continue. That is where the probability is. If they have just recently made this Herculean effort to get back into a profitable position, you can assume that there is a very good chance that they will be able to do it again. And again, this is true whether they have been profitable or whether they are just now getting profitable. But one of the reasons why I think this is important is because for people like me, and there's many other people out there, they dislike buying companies that cannot show a profit. And there are many others who won't even consider buying a stock unless they can show some kind of profit.
Yeah, even if a company's getting better, if it's not able to make a profit, kind of hard to get yourself, you know, interested in that company.
Right. I mean, losing less on a quarterly basis is still improvement, right? So by definition, that is growth. But there is something entirely different about seeing a company that is showing real growth and they are showing a profit. And the reason why this is important is because these are the companies and these are the stocks that should see the best new demand from new investors, because there's people who will all of a sudden start to pay attention to that stock.
Sure.
A stock they never would have given a second thought to. They're now finally starting to pay attention to it, and these stocks are now on their radar screen.
Yeah, especially if there was a way that you could screen for profits going forward. That would be even more interesting.
Yeah, right, that is the box of magic.
Yeah, but we can't do that, so set this one up for us.
Okay, the screen starts off by looking at this. The first item is we want the EPS for the previous 4 quarters to be less than or equals to 0. That means in each of the previous 4 quarters, sans the most recently reported quarter, the company has reported less than or equal to 0, meaning no profit, a loss. The next item is I want the EPS for the recently reported quarter to be greater than 0. Once again, this is the opposite. We want the company to show a profit, their very first profit, so it has to be greater than 0, right? So what we've just done is most recent quarter profit, previous 4 quarters no profit. The last item I am throwing in there is the current price greater than or equals to 5. I personally don't like buying stocks that are under $5, so that's why I threw that in there. But if you remove this item, and you don't have a problem with buying cheap stocks, if you remove the item, you'll probably get about 3 times as many companies. And when I ran it yesterday, that is indeed what I saw. I saw 3 times more companies when I removed that item. But that actually kind of makes sense too, because if the company has not been able to show a profit, a lot of those companies do have kind of a cheap stock price.
True.
So if you're comfortable, take that out and see what comes through.
All right, do we know how many stocks came through this screen?
With that item in there, I think there was about 23 companies that came through. And here's I have 3 right here today. If you go to the article that's posted on the site, I think there's 5 or 6 companies listed. And again, you can run the screen on your own in the Research Wizard to see all of the companies that came through. But here's 3 of them. Global Crossing came through. Another company, local.com, and then IMAX. And let me just say that Global Crossing reports on 10/28, local.com reports on 11/5, and IMAX reports on 11/5. So none of these companies has reported yet, but these are companies that you're going to want to watch, because as they get closer to their earnings period, hopefully if you see earnings estimate revisions going up, you'll get an idea as to what analysts are thinking, and maybe these companies will be good candidates to do it once again.
Do you own any of these?
I don't have any of these.
All righty. And if you want to take a look at some of those other stocks that came through the screen that Kevin was talking about, get over to Zacks.com's homepage and go to the headline that's right next to Kevin's picture on that homepage. Click on it. It'll take you right to that information. That's especially important to know if you're accessing these videos outside of Zacks.com. And likewise, if you want to find out more about the Research Wizard, that tool that Kevin uses to achieve most of his screens, if not all of them, go to Zacks.com/Research Wizard. You'll get the full lowdown on that tool right there. With Kevin Matras and the Screen of the Week, I'm Terry Ruffalo.